What could move someone like Lee Min-ho, an actor known for commanding the screen with effortless charisma, to tears in front of the world? The answer came in a quiet, profoundly human moment that unfolded during a recent interview, where Lee Min-ho's emotions broke through the polished veneer of celebrity, revealing the depth of his admiration and love for Song Hye Kyo, the mother of his child, and the partner who had reshaped his life in ways fame never could. It was not a staged confession. There were no cameras rolling for a dramatic reveal. And yet, when the footage of Lee Min-ho speaking about Song Hye Kyo's sacrifices surfaced, fans around the world were instantly captivated, moved, and inspired. According to those present, the interview began as a standard conversation about his career, his projects, and the responsibilities he now carries as a father. But as the questions turned toward family life, something changed. His usual composure, so carefully honed over years of international stardom, began to falter. He spoke of Song Hye Kyo not in terms of celebrity, not as a co-star or public figure, but as the woman who had stood by him through sleepless nights, challenges, and the emotional demands of preparing for their first child. "She has given everything to this family," he said, his voice faltering slightly. "Every choice she has made, every sacrifice she has borne, it was all for us, for our son. I don't think the world understands how much strength that takes." At that moment, his eyes welled with tears. They streamed slowly down his face, unguarded, raw, completely human. It was a stark departure from the image the world had long held of him, a confident, almost untouchable star. Here was someone stripped of pretense, standing only as a husband and a father, acknowledging the magnitude of the partner he shares his life with. Friends close to the couple later described the scene as incredibly moving. They say that Lee Min-ho's tears were not simply for the audience to witness, but for the sheer weight of what he had witnessed in Song Hye Kyo over the years, the late nights, the quiet resilience, the unspoken care that had allowed him to step into fatherhood with confidence. He continued, pausing several times to collect himself. "I've seen her stay awake when I could not, when the baby needed her, and she never complained. She gave up so much for this family, and yet she does it with grace, with love, with an unwavering smile. Watching her has changed me. It's taught me what it truly means to care for someone." The honesty in his voice struck fans worldwide. For many, it was a rare glimpse into the deeply personal realities behind the glamorous life of a superstar. Beyond the red carpets, the awards, and the adoring fans, life for Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo had taken on a rhythm familiar to millions of ordinary families: sacrifice, patience, sleepless nights, and the profound, often quiet, rewards of parenthood. Social media erupted almost immediately after the interview aired. Clips of his emotional statements circulated rapidly, with millions expressing empathy, admiration, and shared joy. Fans spoke not just of his tears, but of the vulnerability they revealed, a side of Lee Min-ho rarely glimpsed, a side reserved only for those closest to him. Many comments highlighted the humility and humanity behind his words. "Even a superstar can break when he sees love and sacrifice up close," one fan wrote. Another noted, "This is what true partnership looks like. Not in grand gestures, but in seeing and acknowledging the quiet strength of the person beside you." The impact of the moment extended far beyond fandom. Television commentators, lifestyle magazines, and online cultural analysts discussed the broader significance, that moments like this, shared in public, reminded the world that love and family transcend fame. That no amount of wealth or success could replace the raw emotion of witnessing someone you care give everything to the life you share. For Song Hye Kyo, the interview reportedly brought her a sense of quiet happiness. Those close to her say she was touched not only by the public display of his emotions, but by the depth of his recognition. For years, she had quietly managed countless challenges, often unnoticed by the outside world, and to see them acknowledged so sincerely left her both emotional and deeply proud. The story did not end with the tears themselves. For Lee Min-ho, the moment served as a reminder of his ongoing responsibilities, the constant vigilance required in parenthood, and the unending appreciation he felt for his partner. His words became more than a confession, they became a promise. A reaffirmation that the sacrifices she had made would never go unnoticed, and that he would continue to honor her in every way he could. In the days following the interview, fans continued to revisit the footage, analyzing every glance, every pause, every emotion captured on screen. And each time, the same truth resonated. Behind the celebrity, behind the fame, behind the global recognition, there existed a man profoundly moved by the strength, patience, and love of the woman he had chosen to share his life with. Ultimately, this tearful confession was not just about Lee Min-ho. It was about the quiet heroism inherent in family life, the extraordinary dedication often invisible to the world, and the recognition that love, when it is real, demands acknowledgement, gratitude, and vulnerability. And for those witnessing the moment, it became clear. The world may see the glimmer of diamonds, the red carpets, and the applause, but the most precious moments of their lives are the ones unseen, lived in quiet rooms, in soft whispers, and in the emotional acknowledgement of sacrifice that binds a family together forever. And yet, even after the cameras stopped rolling, the impact of that moment continued to ripple outward, through the hearts of fans, through the media, and through the quiet life that Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo were carefully building around their newborn son. Behind the headlines and viral clips, life had settled into a rhythm that no award, no public accolade, and no fan adoration could replicate. The house that had once echoed with a quiet hum of celebrity schedules now rang with a different energy, soft cries in the night, the gentle coos of a newborn, and the tender murmurs of parents learning together what it truly means to nurture a life. Those closest to the couple described how the emotional vulnerability Lee Min-ho displayed during the interview had transformed the atmosphere in their home. Where there had once been careful precision and a measured performance of perfection, there was now openness, a rawness that reflected the intimacy of their family life. Small gestures, holding the baby while humming a song, adjusting blankets in the middle of the night, whispering words of comfort, became the markers of devotion, proof of promises fulfilled in ways that fame could never measure. Song Hye Kyo, too, was seen embracing the new dynamic. The quiet strength she exhibited through pregnancy had carried over into these first weeks of parenthood. Friends say that she often watched Lee Min-ho with their son, seeing him navigate the delicate balance between wonder, exhaustion, and responsibility. In those moments, their relationship was no longer about celebrity or public image. It was about two people profoundly connected, sharing in the creation of a life. The public reaction was extraordinary. Clips of Lee Min-ho breaking down and praising Song Hye Kyo's sacrifice went viral repeatedly, not as a sensational headline, but as a lesson in humanity. Across social media platforms, fans shared messages about respect, love, and gratitude, often drawing parallels to their own lives. Many noted that in an age dominated by curated perfection, the display of unguarded emotion felt revolutionary. It was a reminder that behind the glamour, behind the cameras, behind the awards, lay people capable of the same deep, transformative love experienced by millions of families around the world. Even within the celebrity ecosystem, the moment reverberated. Fellow actors, directors, and colleagues commented on the rare sincerity Lee Min-ho displayed. Some shared that witnessing such a heartfelt acknowledgement of sacrifice was both humbling and inspiring, reminding them that success and recognition are meaningful, but never as meaningful as the lives we nurture and protect. Within the home, however, the story remained most powerful in its private moments. In the nursery, illuminated by gentle morning light, Lee Min-ho could be seen whispering to his son about the world he was about to join, carefully guiding his tiny hands and offering reassurance that transcended any script he had ever performed. Song Hye Kyo, quietly observing from nearby, would occasionally reach out to join him, their hands brushing in the tender synchronization of two parents fully attuned to the needs of their child. The diamond-studded crib, once the subject of public fascination, now served a more symbolic purpose. It was a vessel not just of luxury, but of memory, a reminder of the life they had envisioned for their child and the careful, loving effort that went into creating a sanctuary for the earliest moments of that life. And within that quiet, beautiful space, Lee Min-ho's promise to protect, cherish, and honor the sacrifices of his partner played out, day after day, in the unspoken language of love and dedication. As weeks passed, fans continued to follow the couple's journey with admiration. Every new clip, every new report, every subtle glimpse of their life reminded the world of a simple truth: love, sacrifice, and emotional honesty can be far more compelling than any performance, more moving than any headline, and infinitely more enduring than any fame. For Lee Min-ho, the tears shed on camera were not an end. They were the beginning of a visible, heartfelt commitment. A promise transformed into action, whispered in quiet moments, reinforced in daily routines, and carried forward in the laughter, coups, and growing life of a family bound together not by status, but by devotion, sacrifice, and the transformative power of love. And as the world watched, it was clear that this was not merely a story about celebrity. It was a story about humanity, intimacy, and the universal beauty of recognizing and honoring the sacrifices that make family life possible. In that recognition, fans found not just admiration for Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo, but inspiration. A reminder that the most profound acts of love often go unseen, yet leave an imprint that lasts a lifetime.